All right, so let's jump right in. The first curriculum pick that I will be doing for third grade is the Introduction to Grammar School Latin. This is from Memoria Press, and as you can see right here, it's the charter public school edition. That matters because the non-charter version does contain church content like hymns and prayers and things like that, which are said in church. Some churches, I think the Catholic Church. So if you don't want that, definitely make sure that you get the charter public school edition. And I've shared about this before, and you could see like this was probably the remnant of the non-charter version, and then they changed it to Kaiser. And you'll see this a few different places in Memoria Press, which I always think is kind of funny just to be able to see that. And so these are the things that your students will be writing in their student book. I'll show you one page of that real quick. So we started this year, but I think it was too much for my second and fifth grader. More so for the second grader. So we're kind of just taking our time. And so here is the space where you would be writing whatever the vocabulary is for that week. What I really like about Memoria Press's Latin is that it is incremental. It is builds upon itself. It's not just random Latin vocabulary, which I've seen in other programs. And they also have audio tracks and all sorts of supplemental materials if you need them. So that's what I'll be doing with my third and sixth graders. I'm also doing the first Latin course. This is from Riverbend Press. I hope this is the right thing for that the CMEC does. I showed this in my Riverbend Press video, and I couldn't figure out what the answers were to these things. So hopefully I'll be able to figure that out before we start. But what I thought was interesting about this was it kind of, rather than building like vocabulary, and so you can see there's English in the end, rather than just doing like vocabulary building, you're starting with, excuse me, you're starting with like different sayings and things. And so I like having that in addition to the vocabulary and word building and things like that. So we'll do that. Next book I'll show you is First Grammar Lessons. Again, this is from Riverbend Press, and this is, I don't know if the CMEC does this. I think they do. Lots of people do that, are doing Charlotte Mason, like as you can see, Ambleside. But I thought that this would be good because it reminds me of the Memoria Press English Grammar Recitation, but it's more simple. And I feel like I could do it more easily with my third and sixth graders together, just open and go. And we do have a daily grammar that we'll be doing as well. So this is kind of like when I'm actually doing grammar lessons with them. And it felt very approachable. Here you can see you need to put the subject and the predicate, but it's not calling it that. And so it's teaching, complete sentences. So very simple, easy way to teach grammar. So that's the first English thing. The next thing we will be doing, this is, it's by this brand, but it's from Memoria Press. So this is another option that they have. I think it's on the charter and the regular website. It's language arts. It's like a daily worksheet where you're doing like here, the topic is plural nouns with ES. What I like about this is that you're doing, well, in our homeschool, we're doing grammar on a daily basis, not overly complicated, not too challenging, and it can be done independently. Both of my students, my second and fifth graders, now third and sixth, commented when they were doing their Iowa testing at the end of the year that they found that the grammar was very easy for them, like subject-verb agreement, irregular verbs, or plural nouns, things like that. So I feel that doing this on a daily basis was what made that more straightforward for them. So I definitely recommend it. It's pretty inexpensive. The next thing that we will be doing is Traditional Spelling 3. I've shared about this before. This is Memoria Press's spelling. I don't know if this is on the charter site or not. I haven't run into any issues with the spelling. The grammar I have, but not the spelling. You can see here's an example. This is lesson 9. So you have these 20 spelling words, and they all follow a particular spelling family. Like here's the phonics focus, and you do like 4 or 5 lessons of those spelling words per week. Like this is a continuation, this is a continuation. This is very similar to Spelling Workout, which I also really like. But what I like about the Memoria Press is that it has more reinforcement, and I just prefer the way that it's laid out, so I switched my younger students to that. It only goes up to 6th grade, so I'm bummed about that, but the 6th grade and 5th grade are new, so maybe they'll continue in the future, who knows. These are extra practice sheets, as you could see. So we'll also be using this for like handwriting, because I haven't gotten a formal handwriting curriculum for her yet. Oops. So that is English. While we're on English, we'll be doing Mr. Popper's Penguins. I have the book around here somewhere. This is the student guide. And this I've shared many times about how Memory Press does literature, but basically you read like a chapter, you get the literature, 3rd grade literature plans, and it tells you what to read and what to do each day. Then you've got like notes, vocabulary, comprehension questions, quotations, discussion questions, and enrichment. And this is broken up over like a week, so you wouldn't do this all in one day. And what I like about this, in addition to directly teaching reading comprehension, which was how I originally came upon this when my 6th grader was in 2nd grade, that was my first intro to these lit guides. I completely lost my train of thought. So anyway, I forgot what I was going to say, but I really like the way that this works. Oh, I was going to say I like that it can be used independently. So that is another aspect of that. We'll be doing Mr. Popper's Penguins. We will be doing the Moffats, which I'll show you the book for that in a second. So those are the two new ones that she'll be doing. And then we are still finishing up Brambly Hedge. This is brand new for 2nd grade. And it's not the reading that's holding us up. It's really the actual work itself, because it can be laborious when you're 8 years old. Next, I got her IEW. So Memory Press does recommend doing IEW, but they have a different one. It has like Adventure or Pioneers in the title. I thought that this one would resonate more with her. So what is this? This is like the topic of what you're writing about. So for example, here is The Ant and the Grasshopper. Sorry, that would be your reading. And then the lesson is going to be based on that. So that's why I went with this. You can see in-depth samples of these on the IEW website. I loop this in. I don't do it every day, but I think that it's a great tool that we recently started using. I had been anti-IEW in the past because I thought that there was this very intensive training, which apparently there still is, but I think it's still accessible even if you don't have that training. I think you can still do it. And I'd rather do it not necessarily perfectly than just discount it altogether because it's so accessible. You know what I'm saying? And then we're doing Writing with Ease. So one thing I realized in making these videos may not be clear is what is the difference between IEW and Writing with Ease? So IEW is teaching you the mechanics of writing. So for example, one of the first assignments students do is to make a keyword outline. So you summarize a writing passage using only keywords. And then the next thing that you might do is to turn those keywords back into a summary, but to add in adverbs. So it's really looking at the mechanics of like, how do you write a paragraph? What Writing with Ease does is it's kind of like a scaffold Charlotte Mason type approach. So you'll read a passage to a student. Well, there's copywriting, like 2 sentences of copywriting is one day of the week. Another day of the week, you'll read them in a passage from classic literature, and then you'll ask them comprehension questions. And then based on that, you'll have them narrate back, and then that becomes like a dictation for them to write down. So what I like about Writing with Ease is that it's using classic literature excerpts, and it's teaching them also reading comprehension as well as the narration and dictation. So it's kind of like a scaffold Charlotte Mason-y type thing, even though it's from Well-Trained Mind, which is traditionally viewed as classical. I guess it is, it's neoclassical. Anyway, so that is, I think, all of the English like curriculum. Now I'll show you guys all the books we have. So I don't know which one of these books we're going to do. So don't at me and be like, why did you pick so many books? Because I like to see what my kids like and get vested in, and then we go from there. So we have the Porcupine Year and the Porcupine Year and the Birch Bark House. These, I believe, are a series. Then we have the Trumpet Swan. This one I've tried before. It's kind of long, so it hasn't really gone well, but my kids are older now, so we'll see. American Tall Tales. This is in both Memory Press and Ambleside Online for 3rd grade, so she actually is reading this independently, but we'll see if she wants to read some of that during school time. Then the Saturdays. This, I believe, is a Memory Press Read Aloud novel. Mary Poppins, Memory Press Read Aloud novel. The Moffats. This goes with that student lit guide I showed you guys. Then we've got another pile over here. The Magician's Nephew. I think this might be Memoria Press, or I may just have it out. The Matchlock Gun. I think these are Memoria Press history books, so I'll put those aside for now. Swallows and Amazons. I bought this one a while ago. I've showed you guys several times. We just haven't gotten into it yet. Poppy, definitely want to do this. I might get the Moving Beyond the Page ELA unit, because we're doing the Edward Tulane book. I can't remember what it's called, and that's going really well. It became a victim of the great flood we had, so I don't have the copy of it, hard copy anymore. But anyway, so I like the format of that. We might do that for Poppy. Then Because of Winn-Dixie, and then Alice in Wonderland, The Jungle Book, Strawberry Girl. I'm running out of room. Then Old Yeller, English Fairy Tales. These are Ambleside Online books. This is an Ambleside Online book. Mr. Popper's Penguins, that goes with the student lit guide I showed you. Baby, All of a Kind Family. These are from Jennifer Pepito's book, Mothering by the Book, where each chapter she talks about a different book. That was like a mentor text. I highly recommend that book, so I bought these because of that, hoping to do them. This was one of the Memoria Press read-alouds for 4th grade, which we didn't get to, so I kind of have that on hand. And then The Wind in the Willows. Again, this is like a really intensive, long book, so I'm not sure if that's going to work. We've tried doing it before, and again, it was challenging. And then I have Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology. I bought this when my 6th grader was in 3rd grade, so we have that on deck. If we decide to do it, I find it's easier when I have the poetry book here, and like we could just open it and go. And then, so that's all of the English things. Now we'll move on to history. So I've got a big pile of stuff here. These are like Ambleside Online books that are like photos of people around the world and like reading about them. My older girls who are now teenagers, one's a senior, one's a junior, really liked these, and I feel like they're the precursor to anthropology, or they're anthropology for children. So Hungry Planet is about what people eat around the world, same as this one. And they're just really engaging, fun books. I believe Ambleside has them scheduled. I could be wrong. That could be out-of-date information. And then Material World is about like things that people own. So there's like pictures of people in different places. And it talks about like their possessions, stuff like that. So I really like these books. I feel they'll be a good fit for my 3rd and 6th graders. Then we have History of Everyday Things in England from 1066 to 1499. Hopefully this is the right time period for the CMEC. I really don't know. I think the idea with this is to use it for your commonplace book. And this one I got on eBay. I had the later version and we really liked it, so I was looking for the newer one. And this actually shipped from England. This is a hard book to find. And since we are doing like history, social studies type stuff, our island story, I shared about this in the 6th grade video. We'll be doing this for English history, and same with History of England. This is the Riverbend Press. And I'm doing my 3rd and 6th grade studies together, so that is why I shared that in the 6th grade video. And then let's jump in with what I think are the Memoria Press history books. And then we'll do science and nature studies. So we've got the Matchlock Gun, and you can see this is going to be probably like She'll Read It, The Cabin Faced West, Meet George Washington. I have stories from the Book of Moses here. This is a 3rd grade main lesson from Christophorus. We've done these kind of stories before, but it's like a 3rd grade thing, so perhaps we'll get to that again. We've got 3rd grade American history discussion questions. This is supplemental reading, or for the supplemental reading set. So that's some of the books. I'm pretty sure some of these are from that, as well as the D.L. Lair books. So I'm pretty sure these are Memoria Press, but they are also Ambleside Online books and very widely loved by children in this age range. And then I have about 30 books to show you, picture books. So this is continuing Memoria Press's history books, and I did a whole separate video of this if you're like, that's too fast, or I want to see more. And there's a couple I don't have. I think Clara Barton, and you'll see this is dupe. I think Clara Barton and Helen Keller, because I couldn't find Clara Barton and we already have Helen Keller. So those are like the main spines for history. And then I'm going to show you the supplemental read aloud books, which are like literature, but also kind of history. So Pegasus, which is Greek mythology, Over the River Through the Wood, The Little Match Girl, Rapunzel, Thomas Jefferson Builds a Library, Day on Skates, Persephone, They Were Strong and Good, King Midas and the Golden Touch. And I mentioned in the other video, I think it's interesting that they have the Greek myth books. Tale of the Firebird, this is a Russian story, Nutcracker, and definitely double check on their website if it's the right versions, because I may not have exactly perfect the right books. Like the Nutcracker, I think I got different versions. Cupid and Psyche, Casey at the Bat. We have Jan Brett's The Nutcracker, because I love Jan Brett. And then again, I got one of these. We're a ballet family, so that's why I got a couple of those, although 2 are assigned. Hans Christian Andersen's The Ugly Duckling, The Stranger, then Rikki Tikki Tavi. I just got to put these things back or I will not have enough space. Okay, and then I have, again, this Colonial Times book, which is like a pictorial book of American history. So we're trying to cover American history, which I did discuss more in my 6th grade video. World history, which I discussed in my 6th grade video. And then American British history with the Ambleside books. So this is just like a picture book. It's supposed to be for your like commonplace book, I think, to get different ideas. So that will be part of history. Then we also have Memoria Press has a whole set of lesson plans and things for the D.L. Lair's Book of Greek Myths. This is the teacher guide. This is the student guide. I'll just show you a page. So this is very intensive. I would probably have my 6th grader do this. I don't think it's reasonable for my 3rd grader too, but I've had this for like 5 years and never used it. So we'll see if I even use it at all. It can be a help, you know, can be a tool. Then we have the D.L. Lair's Book of Norse Myths. This is one of the scheduled books for Memoria Press as well for 3rd grade. Then we have the Beautiful Feet Around the World with Picture books. And I've done a separate video on this specifically, so I'll just quickly show you the books for that. And I'm pretty sure I have all of them. Some of this might not be from there. So you could see, see, this is the dupe of the Memoria Press one. And this is not from here. This goes with the Colonial Times book. Okay. So these are all about like different parts of the world, Europe and South America, that are scheduled in that guide, and it has lovely discussion questions and things. And this is Finding Winnie, which is about the true story behind Winnie the Pooh. Roget and his thesaurus, about Roget's thesaurus. And then last up we have science / actually I have math. Well, I got this Art and Masterpieces. Someone recommended this. I don't remember who it was, like which curriculum company. It might be Wildwood, it might be Alvieri, not sure. So I got that for my daughter, who's an artist. And then moving on to math, we will be continuing with Moving Beyond the Page math because I love it and it works well. There are picture books that go along with this. I don't have them on hand. There are manipulatives, also don't have them on hand. But I have videos with those things if you're interested. Okay, now moving on to natural history / science. So these are Ambleside Online Year 3 books. This is obviously history. This is kind of also history, but these are the Ambleside books for like nature study. We've also got Burgess's Animal book. Again, there's different versions of this, so make sure you have whichever version for whichever program you're doing. We're finishing up Wildlife in Woods and Fields, which is by Arabella Buckley. I love her short books. Then we've got these books for nature study. And lastly, we've got Pagoo, which is a darling book about this little hermit crab. This is short for Pagaris. My son read this in 3rd grade and it was darling. It goes with The Drop of Water, which is another darling science book. Well-loved favorite around here. Then we are doing Book Shark Level C. We've started this. She is already on week 8. This is the first book, and I did a whole unboxing video about that. So that is everything that we were doing for 3rd grade. Sorry for my fast talking, but I do have to quickly leave you. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing our picks for 3rd grade, and thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed if you want to see our picks for 9th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade.